For Helok Sol, I am Skeggy Vetter, and welcome to the Norse Code. Now, a couple things before we get started. I know I've been gone for a while. I'm sorry, but life has gotten busy. Helping out at my fiance's house, work around my house, my parents have needed help, and just trying to enjoy the summer. I needed to take a little break to actually have time. But starting with this video, I am back. I'm going to start getting into this again. I haven't gone anywhere, just took a break. And we will start up with the actual podcast in about 2 weeks. I think I'll have that actually come out. And that'll be a fun story. Now, you have undoubtedly noticed that this is a different video setup than what I normally do. And that's because we're going to be doing some drawing. Because today we are talking about bindrunes. Now, what is a bindrune? Well, a bindrune is used in Norse magic by taking one of the existing runes, or I'm sorry, multiple of the existing runes, and combining them together to create a whole new meaning. Now, you have undoubtedly seen bindrunes before. In fact, I could 100% guarantee you have seen a bindrune before, because the most famous one of all takes another version of the H, which is Haglas, and Berkana, and combines them together into the Bluetooth symbol. That's right, Bluetooth is a bindrune. Now, they didn't mean it in the magical way. Bluetooth was developed in Scandinavia, and to pay homage to their heritage, they took the H and the B and decided to use that for their symbol. Why the H and the B? Well, because they were honoring a very specific person. Oh, Harold Bluetooth, which Bluetooth is named after. King Harold Bluetooth was a very famous, I think a Swedish king? I'll have to double check that. I'm pretty sure it's Swedish king. And to honor their heritage, Harold Bluetooth, the Bluetooth symbol. Now, why am I doing this bindrune now? Kind of seemingly out of nowhere? Well, an opportunity has fallen in my lap that requires a bindrune. And I decided to make a Norse Code bindrune. Now, some other famous bindrunes that you may have seen is Vedressir, or the Helm of All. And here's a bunch of others that were taken from the Runes, Sigils, and Bindrunes by Northern Black, which is a great book and a great resource for bindrunes if you're interested. They also have a bunch of Norse artwork books. Highly recommend them. I'll throw a link in the description. So these are some of the other bindrunes you can see. But what I'm going to show you today is how to make one yourself as I go through and make the Norse Code bindrune. Now, I did do a little bit of thought ahead of time, and I kind of know which runes I want to use. So, to begin with, we're going to start with Ansuz. Now, Ansuz means communication. Then we're going to use, and the reason I chose that was because obviously this is a podcast and YouTube channel, and I'm communicating with all of y'all. Next up, Kenaz. Now, Kenaz means creativity. Please pardon my pardon my penmanship. I'm an engineer by trade. We're good with numbers, and that's about it. So obviously, creativity, if I'm doing a podcast, if I'm doing these YouTube videos, there needs to be some level of creativity amongst that. And then I threw in wonjo. And wonjo is prosperity, success. Now, this one, admittedly, is a little selfish of me because I do want this channel to prosper. I do want it to be successful. So, naturally, I chose wonjo. I also chose manes. Now, manes is community. Community is you guys. Because without you, I'm just a guy talking to myself. So, you guys are just as much a part of this, just as important as any other part of it. So, I had to include you guys into the Bindrune. And then finally, Othala. Well, Othala is heritage, ancestors, and the gods. Now, I think it's pretty self-explanatory why I chose Othala. This whole thing is meant to honor the gods, honor our ancestors, connect with our heritage. And so I chose these 5 runes to become the Norse Code Bindrune. Now, whatever Bindrune you are working on, it can be any number of runes. Well, not any number. It's got to be more than one. Because if you just have one, it's just the rune. But once you have more than one, it's a Bindrune. So, let's get a fresh sheet of paper here. Alright, so just as a reminder, our runes are Anus, Kenaz, Wonjo, Othala, and Manes. Now, the next thing is we actually have to combine them together. And this is the most creative and fun aspect of it because there's really no rules on how to put them together. You put them together in such a way that it resonates with you, that it resonates that meaning, whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. As long as it resonates, it's going to work. I mean, just combining them together, it's going to work. I mean, that's how runes work. You write them down, and just by writing them, you activate them. And so by doing Bindrune, as soon as you write it, you activate it. So it doesn't really matter how you put them together, as long as you put them together in a meaningful way. So, let's start off with Ansus. Let's see, we could put a wonjo on that line like that. So, if we continue this line straight down and have that be the bottom of the Ansus, then we can, there's Othala, Manes, and Kenaz kind of automatically gets created here and here. So that's one way to do it. Let's see, what are some other ways we can think of to do this? Well, we can take Ansus, wonjo, Manes, Othala. And again, Kenaz exists here, here, and here. Neither one of those is really doing anything for me, so let's keep going. This time, maybe we start with Manes. And then one Jo. Oh, and that makes Othala right there. You can see it here. Kenaz obviously lives in here. And then Ansu's. Oop, gave it a little tail there. Didn't mean to. No, I'm not really liking that one either. Now, for me personally, I really like the appearance of the stave. That just seems like the most logical way to put runes together, to me. I mean, if it doesn't resonate with you, obviously don't do it that way. So let's try putting these together in more of a stave sort of way. So, Ansu's. I'm going to extend this down. So the staves are usually built on a line. So then we'll throw in a one Jo in our Kenaz, Othala, Menez. I like that. That works for me. That looks good. I like that. And I like how, purely from an aesthetic point of view, I like how the line from Anaz kind of stops before it gets all the way down to the end of Manaz. So if we were to extend these so they're all the same, nah, that looks kind of weird to me. And aesthetics do play a part in this, so I definitely want these to be longer, which, I mean, now they're way too long, but yeah, I'm definitely feeling that. So let's draw it a little bit more cleanly. I think we have it. There it is. That is the Bindrune for the Norse Code. So, with that in mind, you're going to end up seeing this rune far more often, along with the official Norse Code shield, which, if you don't remember, looks something a little bit like this. That's an awful drawing. Let me throw it up right there. Much better. So, we have the official shield. Now we have the official Bindrune of the Norse Code, which means that this is going to end up on a shirt that will be available at our website. Link down in the description below. And just for reference, one of the reasons why I like the staves is because it's a really good way to put the gods together. For instance, Loki. There's the runes that spell out Loki, and you could very easily there's a Bindrune for Loki, and it's very easy to read. It's not all jumbled together. Or if you take Odin, it's very easy to read that that's Odin. These are staves. These are how I prefer to put Bindrunes together, but that's a personal preference. And there are times in which some of these other methods do work better. I mean, I certainly love Vedrasir. I have that tattooed on my leg. Or this Bindrune here, which is actually the symbol used by Bindrune. So there really is no right or wrong way to do it. You really need to just take what resonates with you, put it on paper, try out a couple of different ways, to see what works for you, and then go for it. And I'll be honest with you, I drew just a couple here. I spent about an hour drawing 30 different versions of this before I found one that I liked. But I wasn't going to make you sit down through that. So I had done that off camera, figured out what I wanted, and then came here and did this. So that's Bindrunes. This is a short video. Bindrunes are generally a pretty easy topic to cover. There's certainly complexities within it, but that comes down to individual bindrunes, not in general. So if there is a specific bindrune you would want more information on, if you want me to go through how it's made, what the meaning of it is, or anything like that, please let me know down in the comments below, and we can do a follow-up video. Thank you very much for joining me. Until next time, Helse thu og Hugun Godum, Thor thick figi, Odin thick eggy. Hail to you and be in good spirits. May Thor protect you, and may Odin keep you.